In communication with Southern California, KHJ-TV Public Affairs presents Teen Talk. Studies show that heroes influence role modeling, behavior, and career choices for teenagers. Most young people choose their heroes from the world of sports and entertainment. According to the former president of the American Psychological Association, America lacks heroes on a national scale.
When I was a kid, our heroes emerged from several different areas of interest. Batman and Captain Marvel reached out to me from the comics. Joe DiMaggio and old reliable Tommy Henrik, two baseball greats, aspired to everything I could imagine. And William Holden, the movie star, was everything an all-American man should be. They say you can tell a lot about a person if you know his heroes. I'm Joseph Feinstein, and today on Teen Talk, we're going to explore the wonderful world of heroes as viewed by our highly imaginative, creative panel of experts. Welcome, panel of experts. Welcome to Teen Talk. Tell me, if you could be anyone in the world right now, who would you be? Who would you want to be? Trevor.
Well, Joseph, I'm glad you asked me that. Who would I want to be? Well, I would love to be Don Johnson. You see the women he's around? Incredible.
You'd like that, huh?
I like that.
You'd like that. Who do you want to be, Susan?
Well, I guess maybe Princess Diana.
Princess
Would be
Diana?
nice.
You'd like to be Princess
I think
Diana?
it'd be nice.
Why would you like to be Princess Diana?
Because I like the way she lives.
You like the way she lives?
Yeah, she's so glamorous.
You like her hats and all that other stuff? Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if I'd like it for a long time, but
for the
maybe
moment.
even for,
This is for the moment.
Yeah.
We're dreaming now, so we can dream. Who would you like to be?
I think I'd like to be, specifically,
Specifically.
like a missionary or something, someone that can help other people to
An
be
Albert
able to
Schweitzer, you think?
Something
Somebody like
that.
Albert
Yeah.
Schweitzer.
Yeah,
That
sounds
could
good.
really help a lot of people. Mother
like
Teresa?
Mother Teresa. I'd love to help other people.
Really? How nice. That's a very nice dream. Jennifer, what do you want to be?
I would have loved to have been Martin Luther King.
Really?
A female Martin Luther King.
A female Martina Luther King. Uh-huh. Why? Why would you like to be?
Well, I like to lead, I like to be the leader of things. And then again, I would like to create, peace throughout the world,
What a nice dream.
all this fighting.
I hear you. I hear you. We have heroes in all kinds of fields of endeavor. Our heroes come to us both real and imagined. There are heroes that come out of literature and out of the comics and out of television and out of radio and movies. Of all those people that you can think about in those kinds of fields, who would you like to be? Dennis.
I think I would want to be Bill Cosby's fictional characterization because, he has a positive output of the black family. Everything's so nice on this show.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like, it'll be a nice family. You got nice kids, nice wife and everything.
Do you think a person like that really exists? Do you think there's a Bill
Yeah.
Cosby-like person out there?
Yeah, I think it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, when we had Father Knows Best, I remember Robert Young used to come home and he'd stay dressed in his sports jacket and his tie. And I don't know too many people that eat their dinner that way and go to sleep that way and
So
do all that stuff. Jeff, who do you like in literature or the comics or the TV or the movies?
Well, in television, I think I'd like to be David Letterman.
Why?
Well,
You look a little like David Letterman.
that's why.
Uh-huh.
Besides that, I think that David Letterman he's a very funny person, and the way he makes his living is he just films himself being funny, and he just does whatever he thinks would be interesting for people to watch. And it's not as if he has to present something to the people, he just shows himself, and I think that must be the greatest job, to just be able to expose your personality to the world.
Oh, I think it's marvelous. This is a wonderful way for me to have the opportunity to do this thing. Is such a turn on for me to be together with all these young people all the time and talk about all the variety of subjects is just wonderful. I bet you're right about David. About John, who do you like in literature?
In literature, I'd say a guy that the comic strip that really cracks me up is Dennis the Menace.
Dennis the Menace. I got a feeling you are very much like him. In what
I don't
why do
know,
you like
my
him?
mom or dad might say that, but I don't think I am. But, but I have like books that might seem weird or something, but like the things he does are like so dumb, and some of the things and the way he talks and what he says is just so funny to me.
And some of the things he does and says are really quite bright.
And
you know that behind all that mischievous stuff is a really clever mind. They mentioned in the opening that America lacks a national hero. Do you think that we lack a national hero? Could we use a national hero, do you think? How do you feel about that, Jeff?
I think that we do lack a national hero. I think that right now, well, they said that we had just gone through the me generation, and I'm not sure where we are right now, but I do still think that a lot of people concentrate too much on their own lives, while it would be easier to take role models, because if we have role models, then we could see what we like best in other people and apply that to ourselves.
Okay. Do you think we lack a national hero? Would you like to see is there anybody that you can think of in this whole world, besides Mitch Gaylord, that you really just absolutely love that would be a wonderful national hero?
Well, I think there's too many people that would qualify for that position. There's a lot of different things out there. There's a lot of good people, and you can't just pick one person to fulfill that.
In a recent survey of teenagers, the favorite current heroes included astronaut Krista McAuliffe, Chicago Bears star quarterback Jim McMahon, rock star Bruce Springsteen, and actor Clint Eastwood. Panel, do you agree with this list, and who would you add? Susan, who would you add?
I would add Mitch Gaylord.
Why would you add Mitch
Okay,
Gaylord?
well,
It comes as a surprise to me to hear you say that.
It does. It doesn't come as a surprise to many people.
No.
Okay, in the summer of '84, I was very involved in the Olympics, just watching it and reading about it and stuff. And I seem to have gotten involved with the Olympics, and just Mitch Gaylord caught my eye for looks. Okay, but then later on, I found out he went to my school.
Yes, he was my student.
Right, okay, he lived down the street from me. I met him 3 times. I have pictures of him. But I would add him. He's done a lot. He's gone on to acting and stuff.
Yes, well, the acting is part of it.
yeah.
Can you imagine if he flipped over you? That was bad. Jeff, who would you add to that list?
You know, I can't think of anyone who I would really add, because I think that the list talks about people right now who are really national heroes. I know I have my own personal heroes. Maybe I would add Billy Joel, because I think he's the greatest musician, and that's very important to me.
Yeah.
But just as some people have maybe athletes as heroes, such as Mitch Gaylord, and I have Billy Joel, I think that there are a fewer amount of people that would actually be national heroes. I think that Bruce Springsteen is an example of someone who is a national hero, because
Don't you think Krista McAuliffe is now?
No, the whole list. I agree. Krista McAuliffe, Bruce Springsteen, Clint Eastwood, because I think that they represent something that society is trying to reflect in their own lives. And I'm not sure if I could think of anyone else who could hold up that burden and take that responsibility.
All right, pretty good. Dennis, who would you add to the list?
Speaking of musicians, I would say Stevie Wonder.
Stevie Wonder.
Because, here he is blind, and he's been making music, for most of his life, and he creates such beautiful music. That's really something to admire about.
So you really like that. Good. Who would you add to the list?
I think I would have to add, I don't know, this is me. I mean, a lot of people have different opinions, but the guy I love and act is Charles Bronson.
Charles Bronson.
He's so tough to me, and he's so courageous, and the way he plays his roles in his movies are like, nobody can beat me, and no matter what the odds are, I'm going to get out of this. And
Charles Bronson, Paul Newman, Clint Eastwood are among some of the top-paying stars. Dustin Hoffman, Pacino. These people they command salaries, the likes of which are impossible to do. Some of the past heroes of a couple of years ago included Martin Luther King, and included John F. Kennedy, and included people like that, Willie Mays, for instance, in the field of sports. Elvis was a particular hero. Now, do you think of a hero has to be visible to be worshipped? In other words, is it someone in front of our consciousness that becomes the hero, and then we just kind of dismiss him after a few years? How do you feel about that?
No, I don't think so.
No?
I think you don't have to see the person. If you believe that what they did was right, then if you want to follow what they did, then you don't have to know the person.
Okay, okay. Well, Jennifer, you got Martin Luther King in your head and consciousness right now.
Yeah.
So he was important. Do you think a hero has to be visible?
No, not at all. No, because if you look at it, everyone's a hero within himself. You know, no one has to see it. Everyone's a hero within himself, so it doesn't have to be visible.
I love it. I love what you're saying. You're right. You're absolutely right. A hero is someone visible within himself. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. What do you want to say, Trevor? Who would you add to your list of national heroes? Who would you like to put on that list?
Well, I like to put on that list Pee Wee Herman.
Trevor, I've always known
People
certain
laugh
things
at
about
that.
you. No, why do you say that?
Okay, first of all, everybody knows who Pee Wee Herman is. The guy is great. First of all, he started out, I mean, in the acting business. He's one of these small actors, right? And he worked his way to the top. People thought he was ridiculous. They said, look at it, he's making a fool out of himself. But any man who dress up like a little boy and play with toys and roll around with slippers going, you've got to be gutsy.
Well, that guy Laurel and Hardy did the same thing.
I mean, he's really funny, and he's established himself.
Abbott and Costello certainly established themselves.
You don't
as,
have to be tough or
you don't
buff to establish yourself.
Tough and buff is not the thing.
Tough and buff.
That's a new name of a new hero emerging, Tough and Buff, or a comedy team or something like that. Tell me, should we be concerned about the effect of people like the Clint Eastwood and the Charles Bronson approach and the Rambo and the Schwarzenegger? They're flaunting, our heroes are becoming people who flaunt the law, people who take the law into their own hands, people who shoot around and tell people what to do. Are you worried about that kind of hero
Joseph,
emerging? Yes, Trevor.
The thing I don't like about that is they make Rambo, I mean, hate the Russians, and they've been having all these movies about how Russia's bad and Germany's bad, and they had Red Dawn and stuff like that, and it's making us, it's like, oh, get those Russians, Instead of, going against them, we should, like them and stuff like that. And the movies have a lot to do with that, politics against Russians, It's this Rambo stuff that's doing it too,
I particularly like the Encounter of the Third Kind because in that particular movie, the concept of the aliens coming in and being treated with a little more respect was apparent to me. They weren't ready to take the guns out and bomb these people. They were ready to accept them and find out how to work with them, cooperation, and not so much competition. But are you concerned with this Rambo effect? Are you, Jeff?
I am concerned with that, and I think that along with what Trevor was saying, that we have to worry about certain political views that heroes are instilling in us, I think it's happening within our country as well. I think that the heroes such as Clint Eastwood or Charles Bronson may put many negative characteristics into people who idolize them because they see them breaking the law, they see them taking things into their own hands. And then many people who idolize these people, probably young teenagers and younger, even children, would feel that they could do that themselves, and maybe that just sets a bad precedent. I think that we need to have heroes like Pee Wee Herman for every Charles Bronson, so we have a balance in our mind between being the real tough guy who takes everything in control and also the pacifist who kind of lets things ride on their own.
We can all identify with present-day visible heroes, but what about the unsung hero? For instance, my history teacher, Mrs. Beckhart, influenced me to become a teacher. It was her ways that influenced me. My first boss, Joe Holohan, had a strength of character about him that I'll never forget. I love the man. Do any of you, panel, have a lesser-known person, your own personal hero, that you greatly admire? Dennis?
Yes, I would probably say my parents.
Why?
Okay, because my mother, she has always been there, teach me responsibility, bring me through the thick and thin, give me the love and caring that I always needed. And my father, he gives me the strength and discipline that I need.
I think you're going to get a raise in your allowance when they see this, and I don't think there'll be any problem with that at all. Susan, do you have any unsung heroes?
Yeah, I'd say, you know, being a senior in high school and stuff, my counselor, Mrs. Snyder, she's really programmed me and really,
She's a lovely lady.
She's pushed me, and she's really helped me a lot in dealing with a lot of things that have been going on.
You talk to her about personal issues?
Yep. And she does. She talks to me. I've gone in just to go talk to her.
She cares.
She's a good person. I was even thinking she'll probably be someone if I were to go back to high school to go visit people, she'll definitely be someone I'd remember.
That's wonderful. I'm glad to hear you say that. I'm sure she'll be very happy to hear that being said too. Jennifer, who do you love among the lesser known people of the world?
Well, there are two special in my heart. One would be my parents, my mom and my dad.
You're getting the same raise.
And another would be a music teacher, Mrs. Taylor, that teaches at Grant. And my mom and dad, because, you know, they brought me up in the right way, you know, they wouldn't want to bring their child up the way that they were brought up. If it was a bad way, I wouldn't know. And with Mrs. Taylor, you know, she keeps me going, keep on singing, you know. It's just strength, you know, it's just
Beautiful.
a strength, a good strength.
Beautiful. That's really nice. John?
For me, it'd be, I mean, my football coach from school. Because, I mean, most people on the outside think football coach, go out there and kill everybody. That's it. But I think he's different from other coaches because what he teaches
says
me,
assassinate, not kill. Not kill. Just
but what he
assassinate.
teaches me is also off the field. I mean, you can joke around with him. He's a nice guy, and he can be a football coach, and he can be a friend too.
Football
And to
coach
me,
and a
that
friend.
means a lot.
You're saying some lovely things about your counselor, your teachers, your football coaches. These are lovely things about your parents. The realization. Trevor, it's not going to be Pee Wee Herman, obviously.
No.
It's not going to be Dennis the Menace over here. Who's it going to be for you?
Okay, well, real quick, I'd just like to say that an unsung hero, I'm sure in all of us, is our moms, you know. My grandma, too. She's really great. Another hero of mine, really I admire a lot, is a good friend of mine. His name's Jimmy Salvamini. He's, when he was really young, he had something wrong with his hearing, right? But he grew out of it, and he started to play the piano. And now, today, he has a record with Luther Vandross under his belt. And I think it's really great that when he was born, he was like, you know, he prospered. And, you know, he's going to be really big, and I can't wait, you know.
Well, we'll keep our fingers
really
crossed for him and for his success, and that's nice of you to think that way. When we talk about heroes, somehow or other, we've been talking a lot about heroes, male people, and I'm wondering, do any of you have any females, any heroines that make up your list of heroes in the larger sense? Jeff, do you have anybody along those lines?
Well, the first person that comes to mind, and this may seem not sincere, but when Sandra Day O'Connor was appointed to be a justice, I think that spoke out for equality in one way, in saying, okay, we're showing the equality of rights, that women can be anywhere as men. But since she has been on the bench, she's been so outspoken in her beliefs that she has shown, sometimes you would think that if you're the first of one kind to enter something new,
be quiet and don't
be
make
quiet
waves.
and sit back, but not her. She's certainly been outspoken in all of her beliefs, and she's shown that that had no effect on her, that she knew that she was given the job because she was qualified, and once she got the job, she's taken it to the full extent.
Okay. Janice, you're a dancer and a student and very much interested in a lot of things, I gather. Who would you list among the ladies of your life that really soar and go up the heights?
As in known or?
In either any way.
Well, for acting, I really admire a new actress that's out, Sybil Shepherd. I really like her, and Bruce Willis as well, because both of them, I just personally feel that when they go out to do their show, that it's like they're just given the main idea of the scene and, you know, told improv, because everything is so natural. And I just completely love the way they're always joking and the way he brings in the oldies into all his little songs and everything.
Good.
I think that's great.
Anyone else?
One of our dance teachers from our show, her name is Peggy Holmes. I really admire her because I know a lot of people say that dancers have to be tall and slim and everything. And Peggy's short, and she's petite. She's very petite. And a lot of people have told me, you're short. Maybe it may not work out or something. But I really admire her because she pushes me a lot, and she tells me that I can do it, and I really admire her for that.
Great. I love it. Any other heroines that anybody particularly feels strongly about? Trevor, do you have anybody?
Heather Thomas.
Who's Heather Thomas?
She's on my wall.
She'll be off the wall soon.
I like her. She's
Is she a pinup or a
no,
sexy
she's
bod?
not a pin.
Who is she?
She's on. Ever see The Fall Guy?
No, I haven't.
It's a stunt show with Lee Majors, and she plays his assistant on it. And I think that she's, they said the top. I was reading an article where they said the top best blondes in the world, and she got #1 because of the fact that not only is she beautiful and has a great body and great looks and everything, but her acting's, pretty good too,
The times may change and so may the heroes, but the need to admire, identify with, and copy them has not. We'll always need to create heroes as a much-needed source of inspiration and direction, especially at a time during adolescence when there could be confusion and vulnerability. There was a time when I was my child's hero, only to be replaced by the likes of John Belushi and Bruce Springsteen. It was a hard crash off the pedestal. I hope that we can all believe in ourselves first and have our own heroes on the side. A book I want to recommend is called The Choice of Heroes by Mark Gerzon. Panel, you've been terrific. You're all my new heroes. This is Joseph Feinstein for Teen Talk saying we'll see you very soon.